So serious.
I am Iron Man.
This is a tasty burger.
Welcome to the In Session Film Podcast.
Oh, welcome to this podcast review for August 28th, 2025, and I'm JD Duran. Brendan could not be here. In fact, he's also recording at this exact moment, but doing a different review. So we are recording separately as we speak. We have too many movies to talk about, apparently, but I'm very, very excited for this episode. I have two awesome guests joining me for this conversation. First of all, I want to welcome back the lovely, the wonderful Megan Kearns. Megan, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me again.
Absolutely. What's really exciting about this conversation is that I have found the biggest, most obsessed fan of this movie. I also happen to live with him. It is my son, Sam. Sam, the biggest K-pop Demon Hunters fan in the world. Welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
I recorded Sam singing and dancing to this soundtrack literally minutes before we hopped on here. So
amazing.
And you forgot about the dancing.
The enthusiasm is through the roof, whether you can sense it in him or not. Yeah, for those watching on video, you can already see him dancing. If you're listening to this show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you might want to hit up the YouTube for this episode. It might be a little bit more of a visual podcast for this one. This is also interesting because we are getting to this movie 2 months late. we're much later than everybody here. When this dropped, because it's Netflix, there was no marketing. There was no fanfare for K-pop Demon Hunters, but it becomes this phenomenon as it's now become Netflix's most watched movie of all time. They, of course, over this last weekend, re-released it in theaters where it won the box office. Netflix's first win ever at the box office. We, of course, talked about that at length on the main show this last week. If you want to go and check that out on episode 651. So we thought, you know what? Better late than never. This film is hot right now. It also has 3 songs in the top 10 for Billboard, which is insane. That's never happened for a movie soundtrack before. So we all decided, let's talk about it. Let's see it. Let's go ahead and dive right on in. So before we get to you, Sam, I know you have a lot of thoughts, but Megan, I want to circle back to you because you recently saw this, correct?
I did, yes.
Yeah, so you're one of those that was like, I didn't know anything about this, but everyone's talking about it and seeing it, so I gotta see this now.
Exactly. Yeah, when it dropped on Netflix, I was like, that's an unusual title. And I was kind of intrigued. And then I started hearing great things about it almost immediately. And I was like, okay, I got to get to it. And then it's just been a juggernaut.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait any longer. I must see it.
I gotta say, yeah, I actually did watch it in that first week.
Oh, nice.
And I liked it. I'll talk more about it here in a moment, but I didn't really think anything of it when I first watched it. I did think the soundtrack was pretty great. I did not foresee at all, though, it would become this huge phenomenon. I underestimated the power of K-pop, apparently, as it has become this huge sensation. One of those youngins that are making this film what it is, Sam, I don't want to necessarily get your thoughts on the film quite yet, but just tell me, when did this film get on your radar? You first saw clips of it on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard songs. I didn't see clips though.
So you heard the songs first.
Yeah.
And you like the songs.
And then
you're like, I got to go watch this thing.
I was like, And then I was like, this looked interesting. And then I saw you watched it.
Yep.
So I was like, let's watch this. And then
So
I watched it.
And you watched it separately from me.
And I'm obsessed.
And then he became obsessed. And so then, as I noted, this drops in theaters. They do a sing-along version, and he goes with his mom to see that. And again, Sam, without getting into the film, just what was that experience like in the theaters with the sing-along? Can you describe what that experience was?
Like, so there's like subtitles, like when songs play on the bottom.
Yeah, so you can sing along. But what was the energy like in the room?
I mean, it wasn't too loud, but it was a good amount of people singing.
Yeah.
But
It was fun though?
yeah,
Okay.
I sing as well.
Of course. People singing and dancing.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
His mom did corroborate that it was quite exciting. A lot of young kids singing and dancing and having a great time. He has seen the film like 3 or 4 different times and has listened to the soundtrack about 1 billion times.
Actually, 2 times only.
Yeah. So with all of that laid out, let's go ahead and jump into K-pop Demon Hunters. This is directed by Maggie, Kang, and Chris Appelhans, and it stars Arden Cho, Mei Hong, Yu Ji-young, Han Yao Seop, and a bunch of others that come and go. Forgive me for butchering those names. I very much do apologize. If you're not familiar with K-pop Demon Hunters, and the chances of you not knowing about this film are slim to none, but just in case, it is about a world-renowned K-pop girl group. They balance their lives in the spotlight with their secret identities, and you'll never guess this, as demon hunters. Okay, let's jump into this. Sam, why don't you kick things off here? I know you're very excited. What do you think about K-pop Demon Hunters?
Loved it.
Okay. What about it do you love so much?
Character designs
Character design,
and the songs.
the songs,
And I like the story a lot.
and the story. Okay. What is your favorite song? Do you have a favorite scene or sequence?
Yeah.
Well, lay it on me. What do you got?
The Your Idol song.
Okay,
That
that's your favorite
sequence.
one.
Even though I'm wearing it right now.
Yeah. That's the one that he listens to the most.
Yeah.
That takes place, near the end of the film, right?
Yeah. Second to last song.
Yeah. Anything else that jumps out to you?
My Little Soda Pop.
So that's
Yeah.
okay. So you like that one as well?
Yeah.
The opening sequence.
I liked it.
You like that one a lot too?
Yeah.
Golden. Tell me, what
Yeah.
do you think about Golden?
Up, it's our moment.
Yeah. So you really like all the music,
Yeah.
the action, the fight scene?
Yeah, I like the action. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
I like the action. Like, when they go into the bathhouse, I like...
The bathhouse
What in the
sequence.
stutter was that? I liked when they fought in there.
Mhm.
Good action. What else? Fight scenes were there. Oh, yeah. At the end part, there was that fight scene in the opening. And in the opening scene.
Yeah, when
I
they're
like those. Yeah.
on the
'cause-
airplane to begin with.
Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Okay, that's good for now. Megan, what do you think about K-pop Demon Hunters?
I thought it was an absolute delight. I was just charmed by this. I thought it was wonderful. The music is incredible. I also love Golden. Soda Pop is incredibly catchy too. All of the songs are really catchy and great. And it's funny,
Mhm.
I heard one of the songs on like TikTok before I had ever seen the movie too. And I didn't realize it was a song from this until I was watching the movie. And I was like, oh, okay,
Oh.
here we are.
Yeah.
I know that song, which is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. That happened to me as well.
Right?
Like,
That's so
I heard
cool.
the song, and like, I watched the video. I was like, what's this from? And then I
Yeah.
watched it.
And then you watch the movie.
And then I figured it out.
Yeah, I know. It's so cool. But yeah, the music is so catchy. It's like a little earworm that just wiggles its way in and can't get out. But it's so good. I love it. And I love the character designs too. I completely agree with you, Sam. I love the different personalities of the girl group. I love all 3 of them individually as well as together. I love how this has so much heart to it too. Like, I cried twice. I thought it was
Yeah.
so wonderful. Like, this kind of embracing of your fears and who you are and what makes you different and not hiding. I loved that. And I also
Yeah.
love the inspirations. Like it felt very much like Sailor Moon meets Gem and the Holograms meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but obviously doing its own mythology through Korean mythology and Korean cultural touchstones and Korean
Mhm.
pop music. And I love that. I just think it's great.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic as well. And it's one
Yay.
of those films that the more you sit on it and especially listen to the soundtrack, you start to love the film more and more. I am eager to watch this again, especially having that soundtrack so vivid in your mind
Yes.
and knowing it so well now. It reminded me a little bit of Inside Llewyn Davis in that way, where I saw Inside Llewyn Davis, liked it. I don't know if I fully loved it on that first watch, but man, I just could not get that soundtrack out of my mind. I listened to it 1,000 times. I go
Yes.
back to the movie and I just fall head over heels in love with it. And now it's one of my favorite films of all time. This is a
Great
little bit of that as well, where man, I just can't stop listening to that soundtrack. Every song here is a banger. They're
Yes.
all fantastic.
Yes.
They're all really, really great. It reminded me a little bit of what Lin-Manuel Miranda was talking about when he was promoting Mufasa, where he's like, I wanted every song on this soundtrack to be like the first Lion King. When you listen to the first Lion King soundtrack, there's no skippable tracks, is the
Right.
phrasing that he used. That was his goal. I don't think it quite worked there, but that's another rabbit hole for another time. But he is right about that first Lion King. There isn't a skippable song on that soundtrack, and this is very much the same. Every song is catchy and is wonderful. And what I love about the music here as well, and I do want to talk about this further as we get into the film and its themes, there is a thematic weaving of the film musically to its characters and the emotion that you're talking about, Megan, that I think is great. And I very much look forward to getting further into that here. The voice cast is excellent. The singing cast is excellent. I know there were different performers that did all of the music, but it was all very seamless and wonderful. The visual language of the film is absolutely striking. It's authentically Korean, but globally accessible. I love the neon color palette, the anime-inspired fight sequences here. It's just wonderful. I had a great time with this movie, and it's one of the best surprises of the year for a film to come out of nowhere, essentially, with no marketing at all,
Yes.
no fanfare. Man, this film hit, and it's really good, really fun. Anything else to add to that, Sam?
No.
No, you're done here?
Oh. Maybe
Okay.
done already.
All right. Well, before you go, tell me your
Okay.
grade.
7.
A 7?
No,
Only a
no.
7? I'm shocked it's
I'm
not
thinking
a
of
10.
a different movie. I was thinking of a different movie.
It's a 10.
No.
No matter what he's going to say.
Yeah, 10.
It's a 10.
He answered.
He's obsessed with this movie.
I was thinking of a different movie.
Okay. So a 10?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say about it before you go?
Goo goo gaga.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you giving your thoughts to everybody.
Goodbye.
Say bye to everybody.
Oh, yeah. Before, I'll tell you my favorite character, and it's Baby Saja.
Okay. For any reason?
He
You
looks
just
like me,
He looks like you. Okay.
and I like when he raps.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Sam, for your thoughts. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. As we continue here, Megan, I guess kind of jumping off that last point, I do want to talk more about the film's use of music and themes, but I kind of wanted to give you the floor a little bit because you were talking about those emotional moments. I'd love to hear more about what that was for you.
Oh, sure. So I really love that we find out pretty early on that Rumi is part demon. And it's something that she's felt a lot of shame about. And she's been
Mhm.
hiding her patterns on her skin for her whole life. And I just really appreciate that exploration of her shame and how she feels
Yeah.
like she has to hide who she is.
Yeah.
And she hides it from her friends too, and she feels like she can't tell them the truth. And then she meets Chino, and who is also a demon and has this shameful past, and they can connect over that. And there was something just really poignant about that and really tragic that she feels like she can't fully be herself. And it strangely reminded me of Elsa and Frozen, about how
Sure.
she feels like she has to be perfect and can't be
Hmm.
herself and can't embrace that. And she
Yeah.
can't really come into her full power until she embraces all facets of who she is. And so I found that
Yeah.
really emotional. I
Hmm.
found Mira's struggle, that she felt like she was too blunt, too strong, too stern, like that pushed her away from people. But she felt like with the girl group, she had a family. Um, Also, yeah, with Zoe, she felt like she was too much of a people pleaser, and like
Hmm.
that scene towards the end where all of the demon voices are like getting to them and they're breaking
Yes.
down emotionally. That was just so sad, and
Yeah.
I just found it really tragic.
And I think that's what I love about the use of music here, because the film wears its allegory on its sleeve in
Yes.
this propulsive way that I really like, with demons being this metaphorical projection of shame and insecurity, as you're alluding to there. And for a lot of us, those demons are the loudest voices in our head. And I love how this film uses, again, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. Guima, is that how it's pronounced? The Demon King here. Um, how the film uses that character to amplify those feelings of self rejection and doubt in this all controlling manner. I think that's why Rumi's journey is so poignant here, given his guilt and regret. But again, what's brilliant about the film is how it uses art, in this case music, as this tool of catharsis to help push back against those insecurities. There's a really great moment near the end where Guima says to Huntrix, "Your voices cannot defeat me." But what we see is music being the thing that brings these characters together and heals them from their demons, which is why the soundtrack is vital here. The music is excellent on its own, as we've already alluded to, but the music being great is important to the film's themes. Art is a profound way for us to understand the world around us and articulate the feelings we are experiencing. And in this film, music is this great protector. It's this great healer. It serves as an emotional anchor and even a weapon for Huntrix as the film goes. And despite the film wearing the allegory as loudly as it does, I do think it is deeply felt. And I'm with you. I was quite moved by this film at times, with the way it uses its lore to, again, in this really deft way, tap into and illustrate that ideal of feeling lost within our insecurities, and how art serves as this tool for healing. I just thought it was brilliant.
I could not agree more. And especially at a time, I feel like when art is being defunded, being censored, being eroded, it
Yeah.
feels even
Yeah.
more poignant and salient and just that much more powerful, that it can free us from our own inner turmoil as well as connect us with communities at large. And
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
beautiful message.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think that's what's interesting about like the film's exploration of identity here, and even how that on an individual level, but even collectively with Huntrix, how the crowd is used in this film, like the public is almost this separate entity that has a relationship with these characters. And I think that, like, because a lot of this film is using concerts as these huge set pieces to help explore the emotions of these characters, Golden probably being the biggest song on this soundtrack, arguably anyway. I mean, that whole set pieces during a concert. The one Sam was talking about, Your Idol, that's also during a concert sequence as well. So like how these characters have to weave within the public space and the secrecies that they're carrying. Like I think that whole dynamic is fascinating. I mean, even with the soda pop sequence, Huntrix is having to hide themselves from the public. So like there is this relationship, and the film doesn't always call attention to it, but it's very much there, kind of simmering in the background. And then the way it kind of all crystallizes at the end, which is, I think, what I love about that final sequence where they're fighting demons on stage, not hiding themselves, but kind of embracing just who they are as demon hunters. I think the symbolism there is really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also find it fascinating, speaking of the visual language of that, is that the demons are kind of faceless hordes that are coming at them. They don't have an identity. You can't tell them apart. And whereas all of the characters are very visually distinctive as well as their personalities are distinctive. So that dichotomy is really interesting too.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how you or anyone else feels, but I think that is like a pretty enthralling visual when, again, you're just looking at the metaphor of it all, because I do think when I think about self-doubt, which is certainly a big demon for me, or shame or rejection, it does feel like a horde of faceless demons just trying to smother you.
Right.
So like there is a lot to relate with it in terms of just that visual there. I think it's fantastic. So yeah, there's a lot to the details of this film in terms of its animation that I was moved by, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also thinking about how the film uses, through its visuals as well as the personality of Rumi, that notion of the monstrous feminine, and how she keeps getting more and more monstrous as time progresses, and her anger has a visual manifestation with the ripples, and you see more of the they look like tiger markings kind of, and they're taking over like up her neck and on her face, and I find that fascinating as well.
Yeah. I've seen this in a couple of reviews, but wanted to ask you as well, speaking of Rumi, did you see or interpret her struggle and like in the lens of being queer, like as a coming out allegory? Did you see any parallels there? Because I've read it in some reviews, so I was curious what you thought.
I did. I often do look through that lens.
Which is why I wanted to ask.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's very fair. Yeah. I mean, and that was also my parallel with Elsa and Frozen, because I always see that as a queer, coming out. And so I very much see it that way too. And she also, she very much I don't know, there's something about her hairstyle and the way she's wearing her earrings. It's very kind of punk, but also has a queer bent to it. So yeah, I very much got that kind of vibe too. Totally.
Yeah, I saw that in some reviews. I don't know if it registered with me when I was watching it, which again is why I love having perspectives like yours here on the show.
Thank you.
But when I read it, I was like, oh, that made sense. So when you were coming on the show, I would absolutely wanted to ask, because it makes a lot of sense. I very much do think that is there if that's how someone wants to interpret that. But I think the film handles it in a way where, and I think this is what I love about something like Luca, because you can look at Luca in this queer-coded way as well, or you can just look at it as two platonic friends that are learning to embrace the raw emotion of just being friendly without traditional masculinity kind of suppressing the way two kids can interact, two male friends can interact. I mean, you could certainly look at it at this film in a similar lens, if you just want to look at Rumi's struggles in terms of guilt and shame and what that may mean to any person on a specific individual level, I think it works both ways in that regard.
Totally.
And so I think the film gets to have its cake and eat it too, and doing it in a good faith sense. I don't think it's trying to, like in a disingenuous way, kind of tap into both ends of that spectrum, if that makes sense.
No, it's definitely not doing queer baiting, which is
Mhm.
something that too many shows and films have been guilty of, but it's definitely not doing that. I definitely think it is more kind of the Luca route. Although I think it's
Mhm.
Luca I find fascinating because to me that's like one of the queerest children's films like or animated films I've ever seen. But it's
Mhm.
so fascinating because the director is like, I didn't intend that at all. I and that very well may
Yeah,
be true, but once you put something out into the world, I feel like it's then open to
it's open, and I
interpretation.
agree.
Yeah.
And Brendan and I had a pretty in-depth conversation about this because, and that's part of what I loved about it is that you can absolutely watch that film through a queer lens, and it very much works in that regard. It's certainly part of what I love about that film. But I also think generally the conversation, at least in our culture, around male camaraderie and what that can look like through traditional masculinity and kind of breaking through those barriers, like it's just a conversation that can be uncomfortable for a lot of people, and I love that Luca is willing to have that conversation with a younger audience.
Yep.
I just find that incredibly provocative and fascinating, and it's certainly why I love that movie. And I felt the same way with K-pop Demon Hunters in a lot of ways as well. I do think this conversation or this film will probably provoke some conversation with certain audiences, and I love the film for that.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like that's what great art does. I mean, not only
Yeah,
does it challenge, does it inspire, do we see ourselves, but it also generates conversation and makes us think and feel in new
yeah,
ways, which I think is really powerful too.
exactly. And that's what this film is all about. So like in a meta way, like it's just fascinating how this film will be used in a real life sense the exact same way that the characters in the film are being portrayed as well.
Yeah.
Like regardless of what the demons may look like, or maybe it is the parallel of coming out, or you're just dealing with shame and guilt, regardless of whatever that looks like. And this film is acting as a tool of catharsis for you. That's what music is doing for this character. So it's certainly like real life imitating the art here, which I love. Like, yeah, this film, I don't know, it's interesting. It wasn't on my radar at all. Now it's very much on my radar, and probably one we're going to be talking about a lot once we get into award season. I can't imagine this isn't nominated at the Oscars,
Right?
and not just for animation, but probably for music as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
It's
good
funny you say
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I was thinking about that too. I was like, I don't want to look ahead too much, but I always am in the back thinking of my like what my yearly top movies will be, and I was like,
Mm.
this could make it. This is so good. This is so
Mm.
emotional. It's so engaging. It's so kinetic in its animation and cinematography. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. It's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, and deeply resonant for sure. I have no idea where this ranks as far as the best films of the year goes, but it's absolutely going to be in my five for animation. It's going to be nominated for songs at the end of the year at the In Session Film Awards. I certainly know that, and we do a category called Best Surprise Movie, and for reasons like this. For like, a film
Yep.
like this comes out of nowhere and you're like, holy crap, this is one of the best surprises of the year. I love having that conversation. So we are certainly going to be talking about this film more as the months go on, for sure. Yeah, good stuff. Do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yes, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite scenes. It's
Yeah.
the scene, it's at the end or almost at the end when you have Rumi on stage and she's almost defeated. And then you have Gino there and he sacrifices himself. And it was so poignant, so beautiful. And she was like, I wanted to save you. I wanted to help you. And he's like, you did. And it was so lovely. But it also really, I'm such a nerd. I think I can't get away from Star Wars. It so reminded me of Star Wars. And it reminded me of two different Star Wars scenes. It reminded me of Vader and Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it reminded me of Star Wars Rebels with Kanan. And
Oh, yes.
oh,
Yes, that's a
oh,
great cut. Yes. I love that.
oh,
Rebels rules. I know Star Wars is in
yes,
this weird territory right now, but Rebels is awesome, and that is a great moment. Yes, I
right?
love that. That's a nerdy cut, and I love it.
That listen, I ride hard for Clone Wars and for Rebels, especially
Yes,
Rebels.
same.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
totally with you.
That I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen Rebels, but that scene with Kanan
Oh
and his
yeah.
hands out, I'm like, that looks so much visually like that scene.
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
And it's nice how that is set up because we do find out a little bit more about the character and why he's in this purgatory, why he's having to act as this demon because he is carrying a deep guilt and a deep shame and how that I guess without getting into too many spoilers, but how the character navigates that by the end to make said sacrifice, I think is quite fascinating. And I do love how the film kind of toys with that relationship. And it was fun too because my wife came home from watching the sing along version with Sam, and she was also moved by that moment. She's like, "I didn't think that's how that was going to go. It was so sad."
I know. It was such an emotional gut punch. I wasn't
Yeah,
prepared.
yeah, it's so good. Just to echo Sam, real quick as well, because I know he was being a little shy earlier. If I could find a moment, what I need to do is record him when he doesn't think anyone is looking, so that way I can really show everyone how much of a nerd he is when it comes to this movie. But if I'm going to channel that energy for a moment, the musical sequences and the choreography, like this film is almost like an animated music video at times, and it's just so infectious. It is invigorating. Again, go through the entire soundtrack if you want, like Soto Pop, like how that whole sequence is staged is real fun. Golden, that whole sequence is evocative in its own right as well. Your Idol has this punkish energy to it that I think is fantastic. Takedown at the beginning when they start on the aircraft and kind of make their way to the stadium. There's just such an invigorating energy to the film. Yeah, like just you can really just watch this film as a music video, and it's also going to be a ton of fun.
Yes. Yes. I think that's what's great is you can access it on so many levels. There's
Mm-hmm.
that level. There's also the level of kind of this, girl power friend group coming together. There's also
Yeah,
the
yeah.
notion of found family and how they are a tight
Mm-hmm.
unit. There is burgeoning attraction with how like their eyes turn into like popcorn
Yeah.
when they're very attracted to the Saja boys. And I love all those different elements and how you can connect with it on all of those levels.
Yeah, that's a really great point too, because we've been talking about the music. It's really great. Its themes, its emotion, in almost this serious way. But it is an animated film, so it has this kiddish humor to it as well. That's really fun and energetic in its own way. I don't like. I think the film is able to balance that tone really well without each one kind of overlapping the other. So yeah, it does. It's really good, and I believe I saw the other day they're fast tracking a sequel to this, and why wouldn't they? And
Right?
Sony Animation produced this. Netflix distributed it, but this was from Sony. I don't know what that deal looks like on the back end. If you're Sony, you want to put the sequel in theaters.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like, thanks Netflix for the first one, but
No, yeah. I mean, I would argue that Netflix should be putting more of their films in theaters too. Like,
well, yeah, and that was again. We talked about this. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to it yet, but we talked about it a lot on the main show this last week. Like, how much money did Netflix potentially lose here by it going to just straight to their platform? But it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because so much of its momentum is because it went to Netflix, and that's where a lot of people saw it first. And if this went straight to theaters, especially with no fanfare, it probably doesn't have the same reception. But if it's going straight to theaters, you also would think they would put some conventional dollars behind the marketing there. So maybe it would have. So who knows? We'll never know.
right? No, totally.
Yeah. But generally, like, what I'm hoping this does for Netflix anyway is that it provokes them to maybe contemplate doing that more. Like, let's get some of these movies in theaters first, and we'll market them in a real way, and maybe we can recoup some money. Because this, as this phenomenon, this could have made 500 million?
Oh my God, yeah.
Easy, I would say. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe more. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and I'm not someone who thinks that the legitimacy of a film is only how much it makes at the box office.
Sure. Yeah. Same. Yeah.
Having said that, though, audiences will go to the theater for unique, original, engaging art. You just have to know that and put your faith and your dollars as a studio behind supporting those filmmakers. So.
Mm-hmm. And clearly Sony didn't necessarily believe in this if they were selling it straight to Netflix. But I guess it was dependent on how much Netflix paid for this movie. I mean, its budget was $100 million. This was not a cheap movie by any stretch of the imagination. So Netflix did pay a penny for this. There's no doubt about that. But still, I don't think it was $500 million. I don't think that's what they paid. So, everybody kind of lost all,
Although, wasn't it sold during the early stages of the pandemic when?
Yeah, it might have been. That makes sense because I did see that it was like a 4 or 5 year project. So
right. So that would kind of make sense if you think, like, if you're seeing that everything is tanking with not only the global economy, but in the theaters, you might be like, well, we got to recoup our losses somehow. So,
you know what? That's a great point. I guess I didn't really consider it through that lens. If it was sold early on, then that was certainly a pandemic move and not necessarily a we don't believe in this move. But damn, be sure the sequel is absolutely going to theaters. There's no doubt about that.
But I hope for the sequel, they bring back Maggie Kang and Chris Appelhans because clearly they have a great vision. And so often when a sequel comes along, they give it to another filmmaker. And I'm like, no, let the originals do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no one wants an Incredibles movie without Brad Bird. Nobody wants that.
Right.
Like, if you're going to do Incredibles, it's got to be Brad Bird. Now, I agree with you. If you're going to do a sequel, it's got to be those two. Or at least one of them. You got to kind of maintain the vision. Like, same thing. Like my favorite animated trilogy is How to Train Your Dragon. And that was co-directed. That first film was co-directed, but then one of them went on to do the next two, which I think are equally excellent. So... as long as one of them can stay on and maintain, if they have to split up, then I think that's fine. Like John Wick did the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like one of those guys stayed on and seemed to do pretty well. John Wick.
I think that series did okay.
Yeah, it did all right. Worked out.
All right. Yeah. So you asked Sam this question. I'm dying to know, what's your favorite song and favorite either scene or character?
That is a great question. I think depending on the context, I probably have two different answers.
Oh, okay.
My favorite, if we're just talking musically, I might be with Sam in the sense that Your Idol might be my favorite song, like individually. But in the context of the film, it might be that last one, honestly, at the end of
That's
the
a great
film.
one.
Just because, again, of how the film builds to it emotionally. And again, going back to the idea of art acting as catharsis and as a tool to heal. I think how the film comes together with that last song is really, really moving. So, like, in context of the film, that's probably my favorite musical number, but Your Idol or Golden is such a banger there too. It's hard not to go with that. Sometimes the most popular pick is the right one. And this might be one of those situations too. Because it's really good. Really, really good.
I can't get it out of my head.
Same. Yeah, I was writing out a few notes earlier. I listened to the soundtrack at least once all the way through, maybe more. And then I came home and Sam's playing it. It's can't escape it. It's on the radio. It's all over the place. Good stuff though. I know we've talked a lot about the soundtrack here, but I do want to note there is a musical score here from Marcelo Zarvos that is also quite good and works seamlessly with the larger soundtrack. That might go overlooked here because there's so much to the soundtrack, but the score is a great complement to the soundtrack. So I wanted to note that as well. Okay. Is that it? Anything else you want to add? I think we've covered it here.
Yeah, I think so. This is just such a delight.
Good movie. The vocal cast here, I'll just say really good. Again, I don't know too much about the performers in terms of them on an individual basis, but I thought the cast here was really great. And again, like the seamlessness to the singing voices is fantastic. So very much do look forward to the sequel whenever that does come out in theaters in, let's say, 2029. We'll call it 2029. With that, Megan, thanks so much for being here. Really do appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
Absolutely. Where can we find you on social media and your work online?
You can find me on social media. I am at Blue Sky and Twitter at Opinion S World and Instagram and Letterboxd at The Opinion S. And I podcast weekly at Spoiler Piece Theater. And you can also find me sometimes at In Session Film.
Yep. You can find her work there. I know you've been on Women in Session a couple of times recently, which is very exciting. Your critic spotlight, is that what they call it?
Yes.
That was a lot of fun. That was really fun.
Good. It was fun.
A lot about you.
It was a fun conversation.
It was great. I had either forgotten or learned for the first time that you're somewhat near me, which was very exciting. So we got to meet up one of these days.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you can go and check out Megan's work. It's fantastic. Be sure to follow her on social media. Did you guys cover this on Spoiler Piece?
We did not.
No? Are you guys going to?
I'm going to have to advocate for it.
Yeah. Well, I'll just send you guys this audio. You guys could just
right?
Regurgitate it.
Yeah, one of my co-hosts is not a fan of musicals at all.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, whereas I am a diehard musical fan, so I might have to push for it.
Well, if you guys ever need a guest to talk musicals, I can certainly come on. I love musicals.
Love
That's
that.
one of my favorite genres for sure. Cannot get enough. All right. Well, with all of that said, thanks everyone for joining us. I really do appreciate it. Do want to reiterate episode 651. We talk a lot about this film in Netflix and theaters. I know it's a 15-year-old conversation at this point. Netflix changing the dynamic of the business. But it's worth bringing up once again because they have never won the box office. So we talk about that. And we also talk about our favorite performances of 1999 because in 2 weeks we are doing a 1999 retrospective. Brendan and I have watched upwards of what feels like 150 1999 movies over the last 3 months. So we're getting prepared for that in the next couple of weeks. We'll have a review of Honey Don't as well. As I noted, Brendan is recording that as we speak. They're talking about that right now. So that's also coming out very soon. And what else? There was another review that recently came out. I don't remember what it is. Oh, Nezad 2, another animated film. Go check that out. That was a lot of fun. Sam joined us for that. So that is available right now as well. All right. With all of that said, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on the In Session Film Podcast.